So this session is important because this will cover the entire project, like how we are going to develop a project and how a Mule project works. So just my genuine advice that please focus on this session, because maybe today you'll not be able to connect the dot, but if you just at least know these things, then as soon as like we gradually move to the project, you'll able to connect this dot. Okay, why this is happening? Okay, why, what is exchange, what is management center? So this is important and it is interesting also if you understand, and you'll get the whole picture of Mule. Like the other day Nazima was asking that where we are deploying these applications. So all these questions will be answered in this session. Okay, so first, let me just share this one. So what is first thing is introduction to Anypoint platform. So what does Anypoint platform do? What are the unique features of it? So as you can see, all these things which you see here, the microservices, IoT, business to business, API management, SaaS, ETL, public subscribe, ESB, all these things can be done through Anypoint platform. So like ETL product, we have Informatica, and we were using Dell Boomi, all those things. We can, everything is possible through Anypoint platform. That is why it is like it is replacing most of the tools right now. Okay. So I have seen many people with Dell Boomi experience of 5 years, 6 years, they are just starting Mule career because it's that promising and it is that advanced. Okay. So this is just a small introduction about Anypoint platform. So I have seen my students get confused between Anypoint platform and Anypoint studio. So what are these two terms? And it looks very similar because Anypoint platform and Anypoint studio, there's not much difference. So when we talk about the Anypoint platform, the idea here is MuleSoft wants everything to be on cloud. Okay, they are trying to move everything on cloud. They don't want like you to keep applications on your local. So that is why they are they have built a web page. I'll show you the web page, and there they are keeping all the components. So if I open this Anypoint platform, anypoint.mulesoft.com, you can also create your like this sign in, and you can create your account. So again, this is valid for 30 days. So this is the home page where I will come and I can see Anypoint platform. Okay, and under that I have different sub functionalities like design center, data graph, exchange, management center. So 20% of 30% of your time you will be spending here. So be very familiar with Anypoint platform because it looks very easy, and they have tried to build it in a very easy way. But if you don't focus more, then you'll get confused on basic things. Okay. So first thing is design center. Okay, so we will see what design center actually is. As the name suggests, it's a design center. So we will be designing our applications here. Okay, so as soon as we come here, we see project section, and we have all the projects which is designed under this account. Okay, so when you want to create a new project, you will just create new, and you will have all these kinds of projects. Okay, so you get the option that what kind of project you can create. So the first kind is new API specification. Okay, so this means you will be creating a new application, and if you see there is a API specification. So I will discuss more about this term, what specification means and how it is different from our project. Okay, then we have new fragment. So fragment is, suppose if you have a project which has the functionality to, like suppose it has an end-to-end functionality, and there is one reusable component in that, and that reusable component can be used in multiple projects. So instead of making that reusable component in that project, we can just create it separately. Okay, code snippets that can easily be reused across multiple APIs. So that is the main goal for this fragment. If you have some logic which can be used in different projects, so that we will just develop it here. So the common examples for fragment is security features. Suppose you have created one project and you have some securities over it. Okay, so first project you will create and you will create the security also with it. But again, if you get creating a second project, third project, fourth project, you will have the similar security feature, right? So why to create the security feature again and again on that projects? It's better to create in a single place and just connect it to the system whenever you're creating a project. So that is what fragment means. So in interview also you get questions on fragment. So right now in this lecture, we will just cover the basic about all the functionalities. And later on, when we go inside the project, we will be also be covering the single and in depth of all this API specification, fragment, and all those things. Then comes a new Mule app. So what is a new Mule app? So yesterday we saw that we created a Hello World project. Okay, I'll just open this one. I'll give the name Hello. Okay. So similarly, as we created a Hello World project in our IDE, we can create on this web page also. Okay, so this is one functionality which MuleSoft is providing, that if you want to create an API very fast and you don't want to go to the Anypoint Studio, you can create from here also. So if you see, it looks similar to that what yesterday was, but you can just drag and drop components here. Like you can just add a HTTP connector, see HTTP listener, can give the paths yesterday like we given that hello, right? So similarly, you can create a project here. It's just that. We'll not go much into this one today. We can see later because it will take some time to develop. Okay. So in design center, we'll come back again. So I think it's already created. So we will see this also, that how we are creating the project. So API specification, fragments, new Mule app is complete Mule app, and there is a asynchronous API. So this is very limited, like not every project will use this. This is a very rare component which is used, but some project will use. So we have two kinds of APIs, which is synchronous and asynchronous. So whenever we have HTTP based API, which is, I showed you yesterday, right? That we have a listener which is listening to our API. So that is called synchronous API. If you don't have a listener, then it will be called as asynchronous API. Okay. And then we have an option that import from file. So suppose one of your colleague have developed a project and you want to import in your design center, so you can do that also. So it is a simple thing again, that import from file. So any questions are like, feel free to ask any questions. And if I'm going too fast and you're not able to understand the basic things, you can just stop me and ask. Okay. There's no issues because all these things, everything is new to you, right? So don't hesitate and ask anything which you feel that it's not like you're not able to relate. So this is design center. So under Anypoint platform, we will come to the second component, which is exchange. So what is exchange? Again, you can, if you want to understand in a better way, you can just think of it as a Play Store or app store. So what you do from an app store or Play Store, that if in your phone, if you need any app, any new app, which will help you to your needs, then you can just download it from Exchange. So if you see here, I am in under Master. So this is my account and I am under that. So I can see only one API, and this API was developed by me. But if you hover down to the second one, which is provided by MuleSoft, this means that everything, every app which is developed by MuleSoft, it will be provided here. So as soon as I go here, you can see all these components. And if you read the name, It is Amazon S3 connector, Salesforce connector. Then we have Twilio connector, MongoDB connector, Salesforce connector, all this FPS connector, FTPS connector, HTTP connector. So these all connectors, what does this connector means? That suppose you are in your project and you want to connect to Salesforce, you can download this connector and you can connect to Salesforce. This is what the end goal of MuleSoft, that it is allowing, it's an ESB, right? It's an enterprise service bus, which means it is its ability is to connect to the different systems. So how it will connect? It will connect through a connector. So if you have some files on Amazon S3, so this is a very popular connector, that Amazon S3 connector. So nowadays we are not storing our files in our local system. Okay, everyone was moving to cloud and they are predominantly using Amazon S3. So S3 is a simple, if you know the full form, simple storage service. So you can store all your files here. Okay, your object files, flat files, every kind of files you can store in S3. So in like every day you will want to retrieve those files. So for that we have S3 connector. So this is Exchange. You can go to any project and just download it to your, it's as simple as that. If I have open Amazon S3 connector, I can go and I can download this to my project. Okay. And it will tell you also that what is the use case and what is the use of this API and why it was developed by MuleSoft. So these connectors, we will make use of it in like some situations where we need to access few applications. But normally now, if I talk about a real-time project, that's what I said, that I'll talk about the training website, what it is providing, and then I'll talk about what is happening in a project level. So if you go to a project level, then all the APIs which will be developed by your organization will be here, and you'll make use of your organization's API 90% of the time. Only few times you will be getting the connectors from Exchange. And here we can see only one API, which is the American Flights API. But if you are in a real time project, you will be see many APIs developed by different people, right? So yesterday we were checking out a concept called C4E. So this is what feature of C4E, that all the APIs developed by all the developers, different developers, will be published here in Exchange. And suppose if you want to use some other API, you can just other developers API, you can just download it and keep it and use it in your project. So this is important. Exchange is important. Then we have data graph. So I'll not go in the data graph because this is actually not used anywhere right now. Even in the training, you'll not be see anything in that. It is not used. So if you want, we can just cover some extra sessions on this, but it's not actually required. Then this section, management center. Under this, we have important things which we have to go through. One is the API manager and the other is runtime manager. Access manager is something to do with your access. Okay, so this also will not be, you will not be involved in directly. It is your admin, MuleSoft admin, who will be having and doing providing access to people. So you don't worry about access management. I think which you'll be working mostly is API manager and runtime manager. So first I will go to runtime manager. So what runtime manager is, if I come to my application, I can see there are two applications here, Training for America and Training for American. So these two applications was built by me and it was deployed on Cloud Hub. So previously here, when I was deploying an application, it was deployed on the local system. This was my local. If I do a right click and run project, it will be deployed on my local machine on my runtime. Okay, but and it will be accessible only through my system, localhost. You'll not be able to access it. But when you go to this runtime manager, so this is deployed in cloud. If you see Cloud Hub means it's in a place where the Mule runtime engine is running and you directly deploy it to Cloud Hub. So this is a similar application. What I will do is I will just copy it and export this and import it here. There are three ways to deploy your application which you built on Cloud Hub. So if you see, have this application name of deploy application. So I can give the name. I can give the deployment target. So it is right now showing Cloud Hub because I am on that normal page, right? If you buy an enterprise edition, then you'll have more functionality on this. And here you choose your application file. So whatever project you have built, it will be under a jar. I'll show you how the project structure looks like. So see this is a project structure. It will be a jar file. Okay, so it has 60 MB space it's taking and it's a jar file. This is how you built a project, and if you do a right click and export it, it will looking like something like this. And this file will hold all the dependency, all the flows, everything you require to do the MuleSoft project. Okay, you don't have to add anything extra in this. And this one you will just upload it here, and then you provide the runtime version. So normally we use the latest runtime version, which is 4.4, and in some cases where you have some dependency which is on 4.3, so you will use 4.3 only, but it is uh, recommended that you use the latest runtime version. Then we have worker size and workers. We will get to know more about this worker size in today's session only. So I'll cover in detail what is worker size and what is worker. So this is where your project will be deployed, and you will be able to see your project in application. And you can see it is started. If I want, I can just go here and stop this project also. Okay. So if I go to settings, I can stop this project. So this is runtime manager. So once your project is deployed, as I told that MuleSoft gives us functionality to secure our project and apply many policies on top of our project. So once your project is deployed, we can come to the API manager, and as the name suggests, it's a it's where you manage all your APIs. And what does managing means? I'll show you that. That if you have one API, this is the API, the same API which was deployed on runtime manager. So I can add any policies. So if I go to policy section, I have this policy add policy button, and I can add as many as policy which is already there. So I have rate limiting SLA based policy, rate limiting policy, spike control policy, HTTP. So there are many policies, and these policies are for security purpose. So we have XML thread, JSON thread. So again, it depends on your project that what kind of policies they are using. Like most of the people will not be aware of all these policies, and but the basic policies which everyone should be aware of is this rate limiting, SLA based, rate limiting, and spike control. These three policies are very common, and we have one more client ID secret policy. Client ID secret is this one, client ID enforcement. So this is just like your username and password kind of policy. So uh, so yesterday when we were hitting an API, if you remember, we were not passing any credentials. We were just hitting that endpoint and it was working for us. So that means client ID enforcement was not there. Means that policy was not there for that API. But you have, if you apply this client ID enforcement, then you will have to provide the user ID and password. Okay, maybe this is like too much overwhelming for you people right now, but don't worry, I'm just giving you an overview of it. When we go and cover API manager in depth, then you'll be able to understand what exactly policy means and why we provide policies and all those things. Okay, so we are done with runtime manager. We have covered an API manager from a high level, exchange, and design center. These four components are important for us right now. And we also have this visualizer monitoring. So again, we don't use this things as much, but yeah, we will use monitoring like on few places. So what is monitoring? Again, when you develop an API, you will you will see the dashboards here, that how my API is working, how many requests I'm able to get. So if I go to API manager, I'll show you how it will look, that what is the CPU utilizations. Look, suppose a project is deployed on some API, so what will be the CPU utilization of it? So if you go to analytics dashboard, you will be able to see here. I don't think I have an API deployed in this one. That's why I'm not able to see, but let me just check. Yeah, it is here. So these kind of things you will be able to see. So this is my API, American Flights API, and this kinds of dashboard is like automatically built. I haven't built this dashboard. So the first one is showing that how many requests are there by date. So request is how many times you're hitting an endpoint. Like if I do google.com here, if I do a google.com and press enter, so that is one request. So this is what it is showing, that how many requests I had hit on Monday, 23. Okay, so there were around 10 to 15 requests on 23. So this thing you will be able to see. And the second is the matrix by location. So from where I was hitting those APIs. So if you see, it is coming from India and it is coming from United States also. There were three requests from United States. So this is one of my like student who was taking this course and he was trying to hit this API. So that's why we have this. It is coming from United States. And then we have this application, that from which application it's coming. So there's a free tier application, there's coming from unknown, there's coming from premium applications. So these kind of details which you'll get. So this is more from a manager point of view, and we don't actually really care about these data. Okay, so we have covered this monitoring also and all those things. So let's go back. Any questions till now?
So in the monitoring, we only do whatever our APIs are running.
Yes, yes. So whatever you have developed the APIs, you will see it's similar to your phone. Again, if you'll give the example that if you open an app in your phone, and you'll see that how much memory it's consuming, how much battery it's consuming. So these kind of details you'll be able to see for that API. So this helps in troubleshooting that API. Suppose an API is utilizing 90% of memory. So in that case, you will know, okay, this API is using a lot of memory, so I have to increase its memory. Otherwise, if someone is using my application, they will not be able to get the response at the right time. Okay.
Okay.
And what does API mean again? So as you have deployed an API, that means you are deploying a service, a similar service like Make My Trip or Google.com or anything. So whenever a user is hitting your API through internet, they will see an error that, okay, this site is down. Okay, so that is that is which we want to restrict, that we don't want our application to be down, and we have to be proactive in that. So we always take measures that if my application is working more on CPU, like 50-60% utilization, then I'll have to take the necessary step to increase its availability. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how an API platform looks like. So I'll again show you that here all our APIs, our system API, process API, experience API, everything is deployed here in our runtime services. And it looks like this. So one application is flight application I have deployed. The other application can be a hotels application where you get to book hotels. Other application will be a train application where you can easily book trains. Okay. and this applications can be interconnected. So if you see these application is connected with this, but this is not connected with this application. So it totally depends. That's how this three layers comes into picture, that your application will be deployed in a separate container, but it can be linked with each other. Right now, it will not make much sense, but when we complete our project, then you will see that, okay, this is what I was telling at you that time. And you can uh, just access the application through phone, through Facebook, through internet, or even through the new IoT systems, all the applications. This is the representation of the application network, which will be developed on MuleSoft. Okay. And then under this, you have all these components, which is Anypoint Exchange, which I've already spoken about, that you can download all the uh, connector which is already built by MuleSoft. So why MuleSoft is building all these connectors is that for us to use those connectors easily. So they go to the market and they see that what application is being used predominantly in most places. So they have a team and they build that connectors, and we can download it and pay some price to them. Similarly, that we pay a price for downloading an app if it's a premium app, and then they will charge on monthly basis or something like that, and we'll be using their connectors. So this is Anypoint Exchange. Anypoint Design Center is where you design your application. Okay. Anypoint Design Center, the only job for us in this project is we directly don't, like yesterday, what we did is we went on Anypoint Studio and we developed a project, right? Directly we went and developed a project without any rules, without providing any plans. We just directly developed the project. But in real-time project, we will not follow this approach. We'll not come directly and deploy this project. Why? Because there are certain reasons, and that is why we are not doing it. Even now, it looks very like simple, right? That you have a requirement, that you got a requirement from a client, that whenever I give a name, it should greet me with hello.name. This was the requirement from the client. And we came here and we deploy this, created this project. But in real time, we have little more complex kind of projects, right? So suppose if you have a project where your client wants to connect to database and fetch some employee. So if he gives in request the employee number in the request, and he wants all the details of the employee. Okay, I'll just open this one and I'll make you understand it again. So this is my advanced REST client. So this is what I will be given to. And suppose in place of flights, I will just write employee and I will provide one. So as soon as I should hit, I should get a result of employee with ID one and all the details. So where I will get all those details from? If I'll not be storing it in my application, right? It will not be stored here. It will be stored in some database. It will be similar to some select star from that table where employee number is one, right? That will be the query for it. But how will I get? When I will connect to the database, then only I'll be able to get that part, right? But MuleSoft suggests that if you get a requirement, don't directly connect to the database in the starting, because connecting to the database will require some time. Like the database team should be ready with their endpoints, that yeah, we will be sharing this endpoint, these details, and it can take some times, 4 or 5 days or some days. So what MuleSoft suggests is you draw a mock API, you create a mock API, and you present it to your client. And if it looks okay to him, then and if he approves, then you can directly come and then you can do a connection to the actual database. So this term is important to understand, that we in a project we directly don't create an application right away. We create a mock version of it first, and then we create an application. And when I say a mock version, I will cover that mock version tomorrow, that how we create a mock version of an application. Okay. So coming to our slides. So we have design center where we will create a mock version, or in MuleSoft terms, it's called API specification. So we'll create our API specification. We have Exchange and we have Anypoint management center where we deploy and manage our application. We have the runtime services where we can deploy your application. So what are the places where you can deploy is the mainframe. The runtime will be the Cloud Hub first, and then you can deploy it on runtime fabric also, which is called RTF, and you can also deploy on some um, like private cloud features. You'll see that. So here is again the overview of how a MuleSoft environment will look like. So this will be your Mule runtime, and it can be on anywhere, on premise, it can be on hybrid, it can be on MuleSoft. So this is generally in all the projects. Mostly this is being used. In some projects, people will use hybrid or the cloud service providers. But I have worked on mostly on this MuleSoft provided cloud, which is Cloud Hub. Okay, because it's easy to uh, do deployment and it's easy to maintain. That's why people are using hybrid MuleSoft environment. Hello.
Yeah, Kumar,
Yeah,
what happened?
sorry, I lost my connection. So
Oh,
till where I was audible? Uh,
the above screen. Yeah, this screen.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like you were able to hear this rapid development and collaboration thing, right? Or you lost me here only? Hello.
Yeah, the rapid development. So you explained about hosted by the MuleSoft.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that cloud.
Okay. So so as I was saying that you can deploy your application in the MuleSoft cloud. That is a one popular way to deploy. So here I was hosting my application on the Cloud Hub, and you can do it on-prem and other features also. But mostly we will be focusing on this hosted by MuleSoft, which is Cloud Hub. Okay, going to the next one. So again, we have what is Anypoint platform. So as I said that you can design your application and deploy it anywhere. So be it an on-prem or private cloud or Cloud Hub, which is the MuleSoft hosted environment. So customer hosted environment such as on-prem or private cloud, and MuleSoft hosted environment called Cloud Hub. So here, when we were seeing in Runtime Manager, if you come to Runtime Manager, so these application, if you see, this is hosted by our server is Cloud Hub. So that is why we have much more functionalities when we deploy on Cloud Hub. Okay. and it is all everything is taken care by MuleSoft. The deployment, the service, and the maintenance of the application is taken care by Cloud Hub. So coming to this part, so yes, so this is our API development cycle. So if you understand this part, then it will be easy for you to like be aware of the next 5 classes, what we will be doing. Okay. So on high level, we have this API development cycle. So the first is the design stage. So this is the best practices which you should follow in any project whenever you're doing or building any MuleSoft project. This is the best practices how you should go about. So the first stage, like as soon as you get the requirement, what you will do is you will design your API. What does designing mean? Designing means, suppose if you, as I was giving an example of that employee, that you get this requirement where you have to provide the details about the employee. So you have to just design it in a rabble way that if an user is providing an input with one, I should provide the employee ID, employee details about it. So we have a session on API designer, how we design our API. Then once your API is designed, you have designed the basic API, then you go to simulate way. And what is simulating means, like it's mocking your service. Again, we will see what mocking is, and all these terms, it's little confusing for the person who is starting in MuleSoft, but yeah, it will make sense once we cover more sessions. Okay. And then we have feedback, third step is feedback. And what does feedback means is, if you have some issues on your design, that if you're sending if the customer or the client is sending ID1 and you are displaying the details about the employee, and he's not happy about the way you are displaying that, he wants the some column to be renamed, or he wants some more details about the employee. So that is the feedback stage where you'll get feedback about it, about your design, that okay, you have to make these changes, and then we can validate it. And the last step will be validating your API. So once you get a feedback, you go back to your design stage and you do some changes, and again we follow this step. And once we get a feedback, though, okay, this is working and this is how we want it, then we will validate our API, and this will complete our API specification. Okay, so let me go to one of our design, which is already designed, and I'll show you how mocking and all these things looks like in a developed project. So I'll go to Design Center, and I will open this API, which is American Flights API. So in this, my requirement was, so suppose there was a customer and he told me that give me whenever I am doing a get call in flights, I should get all the flight details. Okay, this was the requirement which he gave, right? And if you remember, we saw this on the other day, that as soon as we just give flights and we hit enter, this is post flights, we'll go to get flights. Yeah. So if you observe here, I am doing get. Get means I want to get all the flights. Okay. And I'm getting all the flights here, right? If you see ID1, ID2, all the flight details I'm getting, right? So this is the endpoint I will be sharing to the client, and I will say, if you hit this API, you'll get all the flights. And if you want a specific airline ID with the flight, you'll just pass that ID and you'll get that ID of the flight, ID3. Okay, so how did I develop this? So the first stage is the design stage. So this is the example which I am showing to you, that this is how we develop it. It looks like long lines of code, right? In the starting, if you see, you'll say, oh, there are so many lines of code, but this is not actually coding. It's plain and simple English. which you not have to write. Like if you give one D, automatically it will be written for you. Okay, so we will cover this in the next session. It is very, very easy. Right now it can be seen, okay, there are so many things happening here, but nothing to be worried about. It is easy and you'll get to know. To suppose I'll just give this example, that whenever we are giving a flights, right, this flights we were giving, okay, forget about client ID required because this is not required now. And if you see the response section, we are getting the response in application slash JSON method. And this is the example output which we will be getting. And if you see, I've given a link to it. I have not given the example. So the link is already present here. If you go to our example, this is how a flight is present, right? This is how we were able to see that flight, that code, price, departure date, origin, destination, empty seats. Okay. So again, if you have any doubts on this, this will take some time. It will take 1 or 2 days and you'll be able to design it by yourself. It's not that you will not be able to do it. It's not coding that you have to apply logic. Okay. And this is the most complex one which I'm showing it to you. Normally you'll have less complex kind of API specification. Okay. So here, this was a design stage or specification stage, which I was talking about. Then I was talking about, you'll get a mocking type, right? So if you click the get here, and if you use try it, and if you just use send, you'll get the output of the same flights, right? 1, 2, but you can see only 2 flights. Why? Because we have provided this example only. We have used this example that whenever you hit an API, you'll get 2 flights. So this is what I was talking about, that you will mock the output. And then we have this post also, post call. We have this ID call that if you send one ID, so here see, if you are seeing that ID parameter. So you just want to try it and you provide. Okay, so this URL is not working right now. I have to deploy it again and then check. So I'm just showing you again that if you do get flights, you'll get 2 flights out of it. So this is just a part of MuleSoft, like only 10 to 15% of the things which you'll be doing here. If you go to most of the projects, then these will be already developed for you, and you just have to develop a Anypoint Studio project best by dragging and dropping. But it's important to understand that what is happening in this project. Okay. So we'll give 5 minutes if you have any questions, and then we can wrap up for today's session, and we can just look tomorrow that what else we can cover in the session.
So, Kumar, so before developing API, is API specification mandatory?
Yeah. So this question I get on every session, and yes, it's mandatory. Whenever we are doing an HTTP based API, it is mandatory. And I understand why you are asking that question, that you're feeling that you don't want to create that API specification, right? You just want to directly create an application, right? That is the purpose, right? But don't worry, that's what I'm saying. I'm not just saying just like that don't worry about it, you'll be able to do it. It is really easy, and if you have to understand this to understand MuleSoft. And right now it's all jargon to you, that what is client ID, what is headers, what is flights. But once I start my sessions, you'll be able to understand each and every line, and you can write it on your own. It's not like coding, I'm saying it again and again. It's plain simple English, that there's a flight resource, and there you have enum values, that it says you can just give this destination, SFO, LX, and CFE. It was similar to the Make My Trip site, right, where they were giving the code of all the locations like Mumbai, Bangalore. So we are doing the same thing. A destination is enum, these values are there. If you provide any other value, it will not take. Okay.
Okay.
So this is required, but most of the places this will already be developed. So you'll not have too much like care about it more, but you should understand how this works. Okay.
Okay.
And as I said, that if you see there are many lines of code here, right? Till 21, if you see, you will not even have to write it. Why? Because it's a common thing. It's a common security thing which I'm using, and I did not write it. I got it from some other project, and I have just have to paste it here. Or sometimes I just have to refer it here. I just have to write this line of code, this much. That's it.
Okay.
And rest everything we can reuse. What is my requirement here is simple requirement. I will tell you that I have a flight resource and I'll allow only these destinations. And whenever I get a output, I will say that the response should be 200 response, and the body means this. So see, whenever I'm hitting this API, I'm getting a 200 response, and this is my body, right? I'm getting one flight here, correct? So this flight, whatever value I'm getting, I will just write it here. I will just provide this value in my output. It will not, I can directly paste it here also. If you want, I'll just copy this and paste it here also. That is also fine. If I give it here, this will also work. Okay. But why we are not doing is to improve the code readability. So in output, I'm saying that go to this folder. This is just a folder. See, if you see exchange modules, I'll go to exchange modules here. Just observe this exchange modules, and under this it is saying slash, then this is a different file. I'm going to this one 68E59. So I'll go to 68E59, and under this I have training American flights example. I'll go to training American flight example here, and under that I have American flight example.raml, and you will observe what is under it. See, this is exactly what I was keeping it there, right? I was throwing the output, correct? So this is what it will be like, that I have to provide these values or my query parameter, and this will be my output of 200, and this will be my body. So this line of code you have to write, just this line of code. That's it. And this will also be wherever we are writing, it will only help us. You just have to write Q, and it will automatically complete the sentence, that query parameters. And after that, it will automatically help you that how this value should come. You don't have to even memorize that after this what should come and how you will write. Okay. So I know it's overwhelming for the third day, but many people will not cover this on third day because they think that if we cover these codes in the starting of the course, people get scared that, okay, the MuleSoft is involved in coding. But my thinking is that I should tell you and make you aware that these things are there, and you don't have to worry. You can write it by your own. And even the freshers who are joining, who doesn't have any knowledge about how IT is working and how projects are working, they are able to write this code within like 10 days of practice. Okay.
So one more question, Kumar.
Yeah.
Is it so the backend all the Java code, right? Some of there will be some Java code.
Yeah.
So is it possible to modify the code directly from the files?
You mean the Java code? I didn't get your question. I'll go to the project, and if you want me to tell like which code you are saying here.
No, so when you create new projects and new flows and all,
Here.
right? Will there be any Java code gets generated in the backend?
So it's not Java code here. There's one more thing that people think that if you want to learn MuleSoft, you have to learn Java, but it's not mandatory at all. If you don't know Java, you can still be able to complete all the project requirements and everything without Java also. So there's no Java code involved. Only code is XML code. I will show you that. And Java is required when you have some extra functionality which you're not able to like complete through these connectors. Then in that case, you use Java. But till now, from my personal experience in my project, I have never used Java. And all the 18 members in my team, we are not using Java anywhere. And this project is going on for like 3 to 4 years right now with this MuleSoft project in our domain. And we did not require any Java till now. So it's quite possible
Okay.
without Java also you can achieve all your goals. And the only code which gets generated is this XML code here. And this is for your reference. I'm telling you, you don't have to touch even a single line of it. Okay, and you don't have to write. It gets generated as soon as you drag and drop these things. So I'll show you how this is happening. That we have this listener component, right? And we have this set payload line. If you observe the 12 line number line, we have set payload, and here we are writing our code. And if I remove this component, if I delete this, the 12 number component line will just disappear. So I deleted this, and if I go, I can see that line number 12 is gone. And if you observe again, line number 11 is there, HTTP listener. If I remove this again, that line is also gone. And if I do again, I bring back the listener again, you will observe that listener has come, the pop 11 number line. And again, if I use a set payload, again, this line will come set payload. So you're not writing this code, right? It is automatically getting generated. So this is for just for your reference, but we don't use this. We will just stick to this environment.
Okay. Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is I have experience in Oracle application framework that is also similar to, yeah, that will have a JDeveloper IDE, and then you create project, you develop stuff there. The concept is similar. So there sometimes, there are any external Java classes if we need, we used to import those and then use those in the projects.
Yeah.
So is there anything similar here?
Yeah, we have Java, like you can import Java codes. There's no issue on that. You can have an example, but I'm saying like without that also, you can achieve all your project goals 100%.
Okay,
But
got it.
you have that functionality that I'll just show you. I think I have it here. So this is which we imported. Like similarly on your line, you're saying that we can import this code, this Java class which we have, flight.java.
Okay.
We have that functionality, but I have never used it, any Java code in my project, and I'm able to achieve all the project goals. So MuleSoft is not promoting use of Java codes because it's promoting this drag and drop features, but it gives like it's open tool, so you can use like Java codes if you are like very good with Java and all, right? We have this functionality. Okay. So we have 2 more minutes. If you have any other questions, Azima or Shiva, if you have any other questions, we can take.
Nothing.
Okay, so we'll close for today, and you both are like already enrolled to the session, right? Or still?
I was not able to reach out to Prasad yesterday. I'll definitely do it today, and I enrolled myself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And Shiva, like, have you enrolled? Because today will be the
No,
last
actually,
free session.
yeah. Actually, I yesterday I sent email to Prasad. If he has, I asked his availability for some time to talk, but he did not respond to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm definitely joining the class, but I may need a couple of days to basically send the money. Enrolling, do you mean send the money, or is there any other thing you are saying?
I think it's enrolling because like Prasad asked me to just inform you guys because we provide I think 2 days of free class, and then it's just for you that to know how the trainer is teaching, and if you're comfortable with his teaching style, and then you enroll it. So I think
Yeah,
today
yeah.
was the last day. So if you are comfortable with my teaching style and the course, then you can enroll. And if you're not
Yeah.
able to reach Prasad,
Mhm.
you can what you can do is both of you can just provide your number in this chat, and I'll send it your contacts to him, and he can contact you. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll send my, so you can WhatsApp me. I'll send my number here.
Yeah. So he was asking that he doesn't have your contact, so maybe he's not able to reach you. That.
Oh, I
So
sent him email.
okay. Maybe he's yeah. So I'll use this number, and I'll send your contacts to him, and he can just contact you whenever he's available. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah. He can
it,
contact you on that WhatsApp, right?
yeah. He actually he was. We already means there are some messages last time when I did OIC training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am. So I have. So there is one Prasa. Okay, 950243688. What is that number? Good number, or the other number I have is.
Okay. I
Hmm.
think the number is presented on the slide, which is 73960 3355. I'll just type it here if you guys want to.
Okay.
But we get messages of these sessions and future, whatever the courses that is being presented from, the other number that is 73307 10017.
Okay. I'll ask him. I think he asked you to use this number only, but no worries. It's just that he will contact you, and then we can sort this out. That
Okay,
which
then
number he is
I'll
using.
not be upfront to disturbing him. I'll wait for his ping so that
Okay,
we can
sure.
talk and later. Okay.
Yeah. I'll inform him to contact both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Kumar, I just messaged him and the WhatsApp number. Yeah, the same number what it is there, 33355, right?
Mhm.
I just messaged him. Yeah, he can also send messages to that number.
Okay, Shiva. Okay.
Okay, so if he's sending late night, I'll respond tomorrow morning. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
in.
no issues on that. Mhm. So tomorrow, like the same time, we will have the session 8 to 9. So please join on the time. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
guys. Thank you.
you.
Have a nice
yeah,
day.
thank you.
Thank you.